Mobile home park is a parking lot business. So you're buying the land that you're renting out the land. You don't want the rental, fixing furnace business, fixing water line issue business. You want the land. So we buy the mobile home park as, a land purchase. So we're renting out the dirt that the homes sit on. So how do we find those? So we actually throughout when we started, I started in 2019. I got my first park in August 2019. So I really built a lot of relationships with brokers and sellers and just have figured out a mechanism to have the deals come to me. So I pretty much, we've underwritten thousands of deals at this point.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Inside the Minds of Today's Millionaires. I'm Dwanderful, America's most sought after real estate investor. My podcast is called the most Dwanderful real estate podcast ever. And as you all know, on Thursdays, we like to interview all kinds of people from all kinds of walks of life and just see what everybody's up to. And we're hoping that by listening to the guest today, if there's something or an obstacle or just something in your way, maybe you'll hear something or it'll turn on the light bulb or give you an idea for something you can use in your own business. So the motto here at Dwanderful is people before profits. So if that resonates with you, you're at the right place and this is your right time. And we have a super fun guest today. So I want to just straight up introduce Charlotte Dunford. How are you today?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good. So we always start off, we have drinks with Dwan. So we have a little toast and just kind of, get in that conversation mode because we're just going to talk and have a conversation and just see what we find out today. So I have water.
I do too.
Okay, good. So
same here. Big bottle.
Cheers. Right out of the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best that way. So everyone just take a deep breath and stretch out.
That's right.
And shake out what you got going on. And just listen and have some fun with us today. And let's see what's happening in the beautiful mind of this young lady. So what we like to do, Charlotte, is I like for you to tell us who you are, what you do, a short description of what you do and how we can get in touch with you. And then I have a cajillion questions I want to ask you.
Sounds good. So my name is Charlotte Dunford. I am the managing partner at Johns Creek Capital. Johns Creek Capital is a private equity firm focusing on small mobile home park investments. Currently, we have 26 mobile home parks with over $4.8 million in investor subscription. We actually just closed a park last week. So when my partner and I started Johns Creek Capital in 2020, we asked ourselves two questions. Is there money to be made? And how do I go about realizing those profits? So other than chasing the multifamily deals or the big mobile home parks, the big boys have been chasing for decades, we chose smaller mobile home parks. It's been really working out for us so far. So that's in a nutshell what I do.
How do we get a hold of you?
Yes, that's right. So the best way to get a hold of me is go to my website at johnscreekcapital.com. There's a short contact form. And once you fill it out, I will usually reach out within a couple hours.
See that behind you, Johns Creek Capital.
That's right. Johns Creek is the city where our firm was founded. So
where's that?
Johns Creek, Georgia. It's
Georgia.
A little bit of a suburb of Atlanta. Yeah.
I love Georgia. I have some family that lives there. I love to go to. I used to love to. I mean, it's I'm really going to date myself here. I used to love to. My cousin. So I'm 63. My cousin is 60. So this is we're in our 20s. We used to go to the underground.
Mm-hmm.
Because back then it was so fun and so much music. And it was just now I hear it's all crazy and it's rough and you can't go through. But back in those days, oh my God, we would be and you just go under and there's a whole life in a city underneath there. And it was so much fun in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah.
I have probably been there 50 times.
Wow. Yeah, I graduated college there. So yeah, it's It's
Yeah,
pretty,
and then it just got like rougher and rougher, and now it's like, oh, you can't go under
yeah,
there, you'll get killed, and it's like, oh my
yeah.
God, it was so much fun in the day. So I feel excited that I got a chance to enjoy that part of
Yeah,
it.
definitely.
I had a chance. I love Georgia. I gotta tell you something. There is something in Georgia. I don't know what it is. I think it's like that dogwood or something. There's something that when it blooms, and every time I've been there, I get like deathly ill. I'm so
Oh,
jacked.
wow.
I have to go get like a steroid shot. I was like, what is that? My cousin's like, oh, it's the dogwood. You came at dogwood season. I'm like, listen, when I come to visit next time, tell me when it's not dogwood season so I can come.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I went there one day for a 3-day webinar, for 3-day boot camp. And I was so ill from the allergies. Like there was just like white and green stuff. It was just coated everywhere. And I was like,
It's
I was in
bad.
bed like, oh my God, I'm too sick to teach. But I
It's
did.
bad.
I
Yeah.
did. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die up here. But
Yeah, it's
it's
been
a
pretty
good
bad
real
this
estate
morning.
market. It's a really
Yeah,
good real estate market.
it is. It
Yeah.
is.
My cousin's been buying houses up there for, well, 40 years. So
Oh, wow. That's nice.
it's a good market. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it is.
so I like what I heard that you all work in small mobile home parks. I
Yes.
feel like mobile homes are, they don't get enough credit.
Mm,
You don't
that's
hear a
right.
lot of people talking about them. And I think when people think of mobile home, now I don't know. I think like most people think of a mobile home, they think of like, oh, it's some Jerry Springer person living in a mobile home. But don't you think? I think that's what people think. But
That's the stigma. Yeah.
it is. And the thing is, like, especially like, we have a house in Florida. There's that one mobile home park there right on the ocean. And I'm talking, these places are beautiful. And they're right on the ocean.
Yeah, it's more like a neighborhood.
Yeah, it is a neighborhood. Everyone in there knows everybody. One of my friends lives in there. And there are all these beautiful mobile home parks all over the country that are so beautiful. I feel
Absolutely.
like
Yeah.
a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to get involved in all that. And they have that white trash kind of thought, because that's just how I hear people talk. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
man, you are totally overlooking such a market. There's a lot of money to be made there.
Because there is so much demand. There is an affordable housing crisis that
Yeah.
our country is facing right now, and the supply is somewhat limited because of the stigma. Actually, local legislatures, the counties and cities, they don't want us to build more mobile home parks anymore, and that's limited supply, and demand is growing. So that
Yeah.
tells you prices are rising.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. My grandmother had left me and my sister some property in Tennessee, and I wanted to put, it was enough land to put like maybe like 10 little mobile homes on it. I wanted to make like a little mobile, because it is in the country. I thought it'd be
Right.
nice to have a little mobile home community and have a little pool and a little fountain and a couple of nice things. And
Right.
we couldn't get it passed.
Mm,
And we were
yeah.
all ready to go. We had it all
Yeah.
plotted out. We're like, this is going to be great. And it was right by a little tiny grocery store that elderly people could walk to.
Yeah.
It was right
Yeah.
by a church. It was in the country. It was so great.
That's right. Yeah.
And
But the zoning is difficult to do because, like I said, the cities actually want them gone because of stigma. But they do provide value to the city, but that actually plays into our advantage, that supply and demand, right? So the demand is going up, and supply is limited
so
because
we
of the.
have to change the stigma of mobile homes,
That's right. Yeah.
because I have been around so many beautiful places. And my husband and I had a Prevost for a while, those big like Rockstar buses. And so when you take those, they have a lot of communities that have like mobile homes and like Prevost communities where you can park your bus. And
That's right.
I'm telling you, these places are like, they have landscapers every minute. They're so clean.
Yeah.
They have like an HOA.
Yeah.
Like they have fancy. Everybody has like fancy golf courses, golf carts, and they have like a country club place for dinner. And I was just like, dang, look at all this,
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
So I love that. So how do you go about trying to help people change the stigma?
So, there are well-run mobile home parks and there are run-down mobile home parks. So, what we want to do is to make the community more attractive by providing the tenants with a better neighborhood. We do things such as, just better management, better upkeep, better, lawn care, snow plowing, and, encourage people with more pride of ownership. Once you get the pride of ownership up with the tenants, they will do better upkeep of their homes. And we do also cosmetic upgrades, like adding a new sign to the community. You see the lake view lake community or something, there's a name to every mobile home park. So you want to give it a more of a, a community feeling. And you can also add white fences around the edges of the park to give it more of a country feel. So there are things that you can do to boost the pride of ownership instead of, a lot of, I think we buy from a lot of mom and pop owners where they kind of take it, treat the mobile home park as a kind of an ATM machine. They barely keep books. So we pretty much take it over and treat it more like a business.
That's true. That's so true. That's so true. Okay. So I really love that part. So now you guys are the managing partners. You are a managing partner. So do you guys buy the parks? Do you allow people to invest with you that say, hey, I have $50,000. I want to invest in this. Do you have people that you allow to invest with you?
That's right. Yes, we do. So we're a syndication business.
How would someone like me make money with you? I've got $100,000 and I don't know what to do with it. And I meet you and I'm like, oh, I love what Charlotte's doing. How would I make money?
So, our investors, we currently have over $4.8 million in investor subscriptions. So those investors are just like you and people who want to have that passive investment. So, let's say you have $100,000 that you would like to invest, then first we'll kind of talk on the phone and see, what's your experience. You don't have to have the experience. We just look for either accredited or if you are sophisticated in business and real estate. So once, we'll have a talk on the phone and I get to understand what your goals are, then I will be able to send you some deals that we currently have. And there you can just tell me, hey, Charlotte, this deal looks good to me. I would like to invest 50,000 or 100,000 into this deal. And usually we follow a waterfall return structure. That's on a yearly.
Explain that to people that don't know what that means.
Right. So it's a kind of a complex thing to understand at first. So a waterfall structure is pretty much a way to align the sponsors, which is us, our interest with investor interest. So once we have something called a preferred rate of return. So we use the 8% preferred rate of return. And once we hit that, that's a hurdle that we hit in a particular year. Let's say we buy a property in March and hit our preferred return in December, let's just say. And that, once we hit that return, the remaining cash flow from, the January, February, that would be split based on a waterfall structure so that would be split into 70-30 percentage. Let's say you make $1,000 per month and the 70% of that $1,000 will go to investors, 30 will go to us. That's, once we hit that return, you will be splitting. And then the next hurdle, let's say we do really, really well and hit a 12% return, then the investor will be getting 60% once we hit that, and then we get 40. So we get a little bit bigger chunk. And then once we hit it, even let's say we just totally are on fire and doing so well. So we hit that, 16% preferred rate of return, that's a hurdle. So we split this, 50-50 and it stops there. And that resets every year. So let's say in a particular year, we did not hit the preferred rate of return. What happens, the deficiency carries forward into the next year. So it will be a cumulative cash on cash return. So it's never going to be, you're not going to, you'll be made whole at the end. So.
Nice. And so are people investing, like to say, here, I just want to put my money and I want you to send me money back? Or are they like, hey, I actually want to own this with you. And I want to maybe we buy a mobile home park together. So do they have the option of buying and owning them or just giving you guys money to invest for their return?
So we exclusively take on passive investors, meaning that they have to be a limited partner, meaning that we don't really currently take on any general partners. Let's say we just want to do business together, but because we have, a lot of investors and we have had that request before, we usually say, hey, we're open to that in the future, but we would like to start you off as a passive investor. So for now,
I'm with you because you get too many cooks in the kitchen, you can't get anything done.
Right. Because
I want to do something their own way. It's like, listen, somebody has to be the chief and somebody has to be the Indians. Somebody's got to run the show here. And I know I've tried to do deals before, 15 people, let's all pitch together and do this deal. I'm like, okay, only if I can be solely in charge of everything.
That's right.
I'm not going to have 2,000 requests coming across my phone day and night. Well, let's do this, let's do that, because most of the people that are investing are not really experienced in that exact thing. They just have money to invest. They don't know what to do with it.
That's right. Yeah. So that's why it's important to have someone, general partners like Johns Creek Capital. We're experienced in mobile home park management, acquisition, disposition. So that's why it's important to vet your partners thoroughly. Yes.
And do you buy all over the country or just only in Georgia?
Yeah, we buy all over the country. We actually only have one park in Georgia. So we focus on markets. We have very heavy presence in the Midwest and the Southeast, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, and, the Midwest and the Northeast, Southeast, South Carolina, North Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Georgia. But we buy all over the country. We have one out in Arizona, one in Montana, another one in Maine. So it's really all over the place. But we judge deal by deal. So we got an algorithm that qualifies our deals.
Nice. So you guys are like, okay, we're ready to buy 3 more mobile homes. How do you find them? Do you have someone that searches them out, or how are you finding people and you buy the whole park, right?
That's right. Yeah, mobile home parks.
From scratch, you buy them already built.
Already built. So mobile home parks, we actually don't want the mobile homes on them because mobile home parks is a parking lot business. So you're buying the land, that you're renting out the land. You don't want the rental, fixing furnace business, fixing water line issue business. You want the land. So we buy the mobile home park as, a land purchase. So we're renting out the dirt that the homes sit on. So how do we find those? So we actually throughout when we started, I started in 2019. I got my first park in August 2019. So I really built a lot of relationships with brokers and sellers and just have figured out a mechanism to have the deals come to me. So I pretty much, we've underwritten thousands of deals at this point.
Nice. Yeah. I love that. I know. I always love that when because you have to find like quite a bit of vacant land. How much vacant land do you need to build like a nice sized mobile home park?
So that development, that is a pretty big undertaking. We've actually never done that before. So we usually only buy pretty, 80% stabilized light value add assets. How
many acres is an average park on?
I think acreage wise, anywhere from 1.5 to anywhere to 4. It really depends on the park size. So that's on average 1 to 4, but see, that's a big range.
I know it is. And people don't understand anything about mobile parks is it's not about renting out the mobile home. It's the land.
Correct. Absolutely.
Not even the land.
Exactly.
And then of course they have to bring their mobile homes and they have to be, obviously it have to be nice because otherwise, it brings down the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's right. And, it's the parking, the homes are no more than vehicles. Actually, states treat them as cars.
They
so
do.
To get mobile home titles,
you like load it up and take it with you. People don't know that. Like, how do you
that's right. That's right. And one advantage is that it's called mobile home, but it's nothing but mobile because it's actually really difficult to move them. So if they're newer, you can move them, and there's $10,000 to move. And if they're older, you can't move them without shattering everything in pieces. So, that increases some stability, as long as you have pride of ownership. So they would like to stay. But then if they don't have pride of ownership, that's another story. So.
Yeah, when my mom and dad got divorced, I was a senior in high school and we lived in the country. And so my dad had 10 acres. So he sold half and sold 5 acres to get to my mom. And she bought another 5 acres, but it had a really nice mobile home on it. Like the biggest, nicest one I've ever seen. Right, and the people that owned it had like bricked it all around and all this stuff. I didn't even realize for a while. And it was so nice on 5 acres at the top of a hill in the country. And I was like, man, this place is so nice, Mom. Yeah. She lived there for a decade. She loved it.
Yeah, just like a home. It's supposed to be a home where there is private driveway. And, that's what the kind of fulfilling the American dream of home ownership comes from.
All the people today, both my daughters, they're like, we want to get a tiny home and put it on the back of a pickup truck and just move it all around the country. It's like, girl.
Yeah.
but they do. They just they want to have their home on the back of their truck and just live all around the country. I'm like, then you should do that.
That's right.
You're down with kids and you want to move all around the country and you can work off your computer, get a truck and hook it up and go where you want to go.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. A lot of people have that RV tiny home dreams. to move around the country. Yeah, that's definitely one of the
You're
appeals.
right. It's not like you just pull up and hook your truck up and take off with it. When they're set, it's like a big deal to move one.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a lot of work. It's expensive too.
It is expensive. It is expensive. Now, how old are you, Charlotte?
I'm 28 years old.
Oh my gosh, you are such a pop.
No, I'm trying.
Oh, I know. You know what though? It's really nice because I didn't start investing until I was like 32-ish. And so I really love to see people that are still in their 20s that already took that step to own a business or to do something like that, because it takes a lot of courage to do that, because everyone has such a big high fear of failure.
Right.
It's a lot of courage to like, you know what, I'm going to do that and I'm going to make it work and it's going to be great and I'm going to make money.
Right. Because I think from my personal experience, I came to the United States when I was 16 years old by myself. My parents never came with me. So I was pretty much one person with 2 suitcases. And then pretty much I remember the cab driver dropped me off to a host family in the woods. And that was that. So I pretty much had to learn English, learn everything here in this new country to, get into a good college here in the South, top engineering school. And compared to the risk that I took at 16, the risk that I took to quit my full-time job at corporate level when I was 25 didn't seem that big. So I just, there was a lot more that I had to go through to get to this point. So at this point, it wasn't that big of a risk for me personally anymore because I've done more.
Where did you come from?
I was born in China until I was 16.
Yeah, you have my daughter's best friend her parents are Chinese.
Uh-huh.
And she was raised in America, but your accent is so similar because she has her parents speak Chinese. They don't speak that much English. And she obviously speaks both. But I was listening to your accent. I'm like, gosh, she sounds just like Susie. I wonder if she's from China.
Yes.
The accent's so similar.
Definitely.
But you know what? Honestly, though, to come to America at 16 years old and live with a host family in America from China, that was the move that, oops, I'm sorry. I had my phone turned off. That was the move that literally took balls. Yeah,
that was, it was not scary for me. It was more scary for my parents that I'm their only daughter. But no, I really enjoyed it. I knew that I was going to a better place.
Nice. That's so great. And then, so you learned English and everything once you got over here.
Right. Yeah.
So great. Yeah. So I can see from your point of view then, I'm going to start a business. That's easy. I've already come over here, learned the language. I went to college. I'm an engineer. I'm smart.
That's right.
I'll take all that goodness and make a business out of it.
Yeah. No, yeah. Thanks. I think it was just, it was a risk, calculated risk worth taking. And I learned a whole lot about real estate. And ever since I started my corporate job, I was already using my salary to qualify for deals. So at the time, I already got a few deals, not mobile home parks, but, in real estate. So it wasn't really just nothing. It started with something little.
Nice. So you were so I always like to ask people what they were doing when they were young. So when you were 13, 14, 15, what were you doing? Were you working? Were you going to school? What were you doing?
I was in China studying like a crazy person, as a lot of Chinese students were back in the 90s. And I was, my parents were pretty tough. And I was made to play the piano. Pretty much, it was the daily life of an average Chinese student in China, northern town, studying, playing the piano and studying more and get to the exams. That was it. It was not much, but I always had a dream to want to come to the US, and I'm glad it.
Was that your dream when you were little? I'm going to live in America and I'm going to have a business, or was that your dream when you were 14, 15 when you were a kid?
Yes, I was listening to American music, and I think in the 90s, the Chinese government they're going backwards, but the Chinese communist regime first started allowing certain American movies and music to get in. So I was able to watch movies, though they cut out certain parts that they didn't think that was appropriate. So, but I was still exposed to that, and English was popular. It's everybody wanted to learn it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Actually had a chance to come to the United States when I was, I think, either 11 or 12. So the American embassy wouldn't sign more than, I don't know, how many, 15 visas for this, summer camp program. So it was in Los Angeles. So I so what my teacher made us do was she made us draw on the piece of paper. So there are 20 people who wanted to go. There could be only 12 students that could go.
Right.
So they made us draw out of a basket. So if your paper says yes, then you get to go. If no, you don't get to go. So there are only 12 yeses. So
oh my goodness,
pure luck, I drew yes, and that was that. So I got to go, and I started everything for me. It was great.
So brave as a young girl.
Yeah,
That's the thing. I mean, I'm so proud of you for having a business and everything too, but that's your story, as like that you came from another country, and a communist country no less, to America, which had to have been like a giant culture shock.
Yeah. Sorry, can I just plug in my computer real quick? I don't want it to die on us all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I hope this is pre-recorded.
She's so great, isn't she? Love her. We love her. She's great. It's my heart.
I am good. How about that?
I've done that once. I was doing a podcast once, and both of us forgot to plug our computers in, and they died like at the same time. It took us 20 minutes to get back together. It's like, oh my gosh. So now I'm always like, okay, computer, I'm checking, and I always have my check markers like to make sure my phone's off. And for some reason, I didn't turn my phone off today because I hate when my phone rings. I'm trying to talk to somebody. So I love that. When my daughters were in high school, so they're a little older than you. They're 33 and 37, 33 and 36. I have to think for a second. But back then we lived in the mountains in Colorado, and they had like a pen pal thing where they encouraged everyone to get pen pals from other countries. And this is before the internet was like all weird and creepy, and you didn't know if it was like some old nasty guy. So both of my daughters love the country of Japan. Mm-hmm. They love everything Japanese, and they taught themselves how to speak it. And they found pen pals from Japan. Mm-hmm. Well, as it turned out, so they have these two, Mari and Mayuka, and they've all been friends all this time now for like 15 years. Still friends. They go see them in Japan. They come here to the States. They do all this stuff. So we got this exchange student, Yoshi, and he was from Japan. So he came to, and he was in our little tiny town in the mountains for a year. And so, of course, my girls were like, he speaks Japanese. He's from Japan. And we're super good friends. And we had him come over all the time. We'd help run him around. And we kind of like took him under our wing as well. But he had a host family. Mm-hmm. So he goes back. So now he's gone on to become a brain surgeon. So this little kid that used to come over at my house and like ride dirt bikes is a brain surgeon. So my daughters were like, oh, we want to go and visit Yoshi. He's doing this and that. And so they were 16 and 18. I was like, sure. I know Yoshi. I've talked to his parents. You can go stay. So we just like take him to the airport, let them go. But after they were gone, I was like, oh my God, we let these girls go to Japan. Like, we don't know where they're at. We have no idea. We have a cell phone number. What if Yoshi's parents are crazy people?
That's always a concern. Yeah.
And then they met Mayuka and Mari, and I was like, oh my gosh, what if their parents are like crazy people? Like, we don't know. Our kids are just loose in this country. They're taking fast trains everywhere. Yeah. And then as it turned out, one of them even came over to one of my daughter's weddings. And they've all been such good friends this whole time. After they were gone, I was like, what did I do? I have no idea. I can imagine your parents were like sending you off into America.
They never knew the host family. I actually transferred a few host families, and one of them was crazy people. So, but that all builds your character.
Yeah, it does. No, it does. And so did you start in Georgia?
No, I started in Pennsylvania.
Oh, Pennsylvania. That's interesting. Yeah, I like Georgia better than Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Well, I really chose, or it was just a school that, a private school cheap enough to, for me to afford. And also that they pretty much were this first one, send me acceptance letter. So that was that.
The people in Georgia are nice. I mean, we all consider the Georgia sort of be South. We had like the old Southern, like the old money from Georgia. Those people are so nice. I love the Southern. I love it. My family's from Georgia, Kentucky, and Tennessee. So I love that whole part of the country.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's beautiful.
That's so nice too. That's so neat. So tell me though, what is your favorite band? What's your favorite band of all time?
Oh,
You have to just
that's a
pick
good
one.
question. I think for now, well, of all time, they're like different bands. Growing up, I like Chinese bands, but now I think I like Killers, the Killers.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that would be your favorite band of all time?
I think so. Yeah.
Now, you know
Today.
what? It's very rare that someone gets me on a band that I don't know because I really love music and I listen to all genres from all decades. I do not know who the Killers are.
The Killers.
So I'm going to YouTube after we're done and listen to some of their music.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they're pretty good. I like them a lot. Yeah.
What kind of music is it?
So it's actually my husband is the one who actually introduced me to a lot of those music. He has really good music taste, and I'm kind of following him in a way. So the Killers, I wouldn't like see. I'm not like a music junkie, so I don't really understand. I don't really know how to explain what kind of genre, but I like their music. Good lyrics, good composing. So I would
Nice. I'm
suggest
gonna
them.
listen to it. I've been
Yeah.
doing podcasts for 3 years. I've only had 3 people give me a band I did not know. And I was just the first time I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I don't know this band. Because
Yeah,
I really
I didn't know about them until a couple of years ago too. So
okay, well, I don't feel so bad then. But I get older and kids come up younger and there's all these new bands and it's like, oh, it's hard to stay up with everybody.
oh yeah, definitely.
So what is your favorite food? Like, what's your favorite food of all time?
I like anything spicy. I love spicy food, and so does my husband. Actually, that's how we connected with each other, but kind of, yeah. The
Oh, with
love for
spicy
spicy
food?
food, yeah, because we
Now, is
like
he
both like
American or is he Chinese?
he's American.
Nice. So you met him
Yeah,
over here. You guys both love spicy food. You're like, oh, hanging out, getting to know each other,
right.
to learn about music. And you're like, oh, yeah, this is great.
Yeah, we met at Georgia Tech where we both went to college. Yeah.
Nice. Georgia Tech's a good school.
Mhm.
So
Very good.
nice. And you said you went for engineering?
Yeah, so I got in as industrial engineering, and so did my husband. But I transferred to business, and he transferred to computer science. So, so
So
we
not
both
only are you
graduated
super pretty,
differently.
you're super smart.
Thank you. I try to work hard.
Yeah, I know. You do. I mean, American kids over here when they're in their teens, like nobody's making them study or do anything. They're like going to the mall.
Yeah, it's just a different culture, and also the competition is fierce in China. So it's
Yeah, no. We made our kids work though. It's like we didn't give them any
yeah,
allowance, so they had to work if they wanted to have money for anything. So if you want to go
yeah,
to
good.
movies, you want to go skating, you want to do anything, you got to work, and this is what you have to do.
That's
And
right.
we didn't give them anything. It's
That's
like
right.
we
Yeah.
made all of our money from scratch, so you are
Yes.
also going to do the same thing.
Exactly. Yes.
And they had to work. So if they won something, and I can remember a couple of times they were like, "Oh, we don't need money this week. We're not going to do our things." And then like 2 weeks later, like we need money. I'm like, don't come looking at me. I'm not the ATM over here. You didn't do your work. You didn't save anything up. You didn't plan.
Exactly.
So you
That's
don't get to go.
Yeah, that's right. Great parenting right there.
So and we didn't let them listen to any music with curse words. So if they bought a CD, because that's like back in that would have been like in the 90s, let's see, 88, 98, so like 2000s ish. They were starting to put all the parental labels on the music, and so my deal was like, listen, you can listen to any kind of music you want, but not a bunch of curse words. Like we're not going to have that. You guys are kids. And I said, and if I hear you, and they had CDs, of course, I say, if I hear a CD and it's all like Emma, blah, 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 and it's just really nasty, I'm going to snap it in half and throw it out the window.
Ooh.
So that was the deal. And they had to buy their own CDs too. So, so every one of the kids, all 3 of them at one point or another had at least one CD. And when I would walk in their room and they're in there listening, I'm like, I'm sorry, what did I just hear right there? It's like, no, I was in my room. I'm like, no, it's my house, my rules.
That's
so
right.
All of them, I have snapped 1 or 2 CDs and tossed them out the window.
Hey, that's good. Thank you later.
It's like, listen, you guys can do whatever you want when you grow up, but when you live here, you're going to work and you're going to be respectful and you're going to follow the rules. You're going to participate. And if you don't want to do those things when you move out, you do what you want. But under my roof is what you do.
Exactly.
So when they all left home, they were like, you have so many rules. That's what I asked all of them, like, tell me something you loved about growing up and tell me something you didn't like. They all said something about the rules.
Well,
so
hey.
all of them move into their own apartments. And my son is the first one. He moves into an apartment, to a house. He rents a house. He has a big party. And he has like a fridge with a bunch of beer in it. And he's got like another cooler and just a bunch of stuff. Anyway, so many people end up showing up. He's part of this car club and they like race cars like the Fast and the Furious. And they were drinking or smoking, doing all this stuff. And then when the party was over the next day, he's like, people threw up in my house. Every single beer, every stick of food, everything I have, everything was gone. The house was trashed. Took me 3 days to clean it up. And he's like, I'm making rules.
Well, you should have more rules.
I was like, how about those rules? You're making rules? He's like, that's right. I'm putting rules up. People come into my house, we have to be respectful, do that, do that, do that. And I said, look who's talking about the rules now, mister.
Exactly. There you go.
After one party, he's like, my house is destroyed. Because they eat everything, like everything right out of the boxes and the cans and everything. I was like, well, there you go. You got to set some boundaries. So the one that bitched the most laid down the strictest rules for his friends.
There you go. Perfect.
I know. It's just funny how like later kids look back and they go, it wasn't so bad after all,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I didn't let my kids be mall kids. So it's like, no. We live in the country. You're going to camp and 4-wheel and, go kayaking and nature things and hike. I mean, we're not going to have a bunch of mall kids around here. So I was the anti-mom, but I was the fun mom.
Exactly. Good.
I like doing all that stuff like that. So if somebody wanted to work with you, what would they have to take for that first step to be like, hey, listen, I really like this mobile home thing. And I really feel like, honestly, and I'm going to make sure everybody hears me say this, I really feel like mobile homes have a little bit of a bad rap, but they're really, honestly, they're such good investments. I mean, they really, really are. So I'm all about doing whatever we can do to kind of help change that stigma because mobile homes are a great investment. So what would a person have to work with you guys? Do they have to be accredited? Like, what do they have to be able to be like, hey, Charlotte, I've got money and what do I need for you to be able to take it?
Yeah, so I think the best thing to do is to go to our website and fill out the form. So our website is johnscreekcapital.com and fill out the form and just, once you fill out the form, I get a notification. I'll pretty much reach out within the hour mostly, and we'll set up a call. And then we'll be able to kind of like talk about, are you accredited? If not,
do they have to be accredited?
No, they don't have to be credited. They can be sophisticated. And there are different things that we can, work through to get you to get you qualified for the deal. So, but I think that's why I'm saying the best thing to do is to, don't I think look at the rules and say, oh, I'm not accredited, so I'm not going to reach out. So do reach out to me and just go to our website and reach out to me and we'll have a talk. And once we talk, it'll be a lot more clear. I'll be able to assess your situation, and we'll have our attorney assessing, investor situations all the time. And then we'll be able to give you more of a qualified response.
So could someone come in with like as little as $10,000?
They could. It depends on the deal. It depends on the deal. A lot of our investors do a lot more than that, but it totally depends on the deal. It's case by case. So I think.
So I feel like that's important for people because I know when I'm talking to people, they're like, oh, I've made all this money. I have all this retirement money. I want to invest it, but everybody wants like 100,000. You can't get into this fund or that fund. And I think when people hear like they're in some kind of a fund, they think you have to have a bunch of money to do that. And they have to be accredited, and it sounds like, oh, I don't know how to become an accredited investor. And I think sometimes the terminology sort of scares people off. And if they're like, hey, listen, I could just call Charlotte. She's so nice, and we could see, and I've got some money, and I'm not accredited, and they could work because 8% return is a solid return on their money.
Right. Well, that's 8% is only the preferred rate of return. So all of our projects will have, at least 15%, 12 to 15%, if not more, internal rate of return, which is the IRR and over 20% of annualized return. So
nice. I love that business. Now, are you in business? Are you in business with your husband?
No, he's not related to this business at all.
What does he do?
He's a software developer. He's a team lead at a software development. So that's what he does. He's a computer science major, so he does programming. So not related.
Well, super smart.
Thank you. We try to work hard.
But both super smart. So I find out that most people have like some sort of place somewhere in the world that is like their happy place. When they're at this place, they're just like, everything is so amazing. Where's your happy place?
My happy place. That is a good question. I think is when I love working. I genuinely do. When I work hard and get the reward for it, that's what makes me happy.
Well, that's okay. Work is okay for a happy place. A lot of people love working. I love working. People are like, aren't you tired? I'm like, no, I've been doing it forever. I'm like, I know, but I really love it. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
I'm not tired. I'm not tired. I still want to keep doing it. It's like, hey,
exactly.
I'm 63. I'm going to teach and do podcasts until I'm like too old to get up out of my chair and turn the computer on.
There you go. That's the spirit. Yeah.
That's my happy place. All right. So at the end of every show, we like to have, I have something, I call it the 5 equities of life. And so my regular listeners know that it's the 5 equities are financial, spiritual, physical, mental, and family. And I kind of feel like everything falls under a category. Like family could be your family, your friends, your cousins, your extended family. Financial could be what you're making, what you're donating. Like, everything kind of falls into that. And I also find that when people are starting a business, I mean, I know for myself anyway, when people are starting a business, they tend to focus a lot on the financial. And I think some people get so focused here that everything over here suffers. And so as I've gotten older and, ideally wiser, I feel like I'm always trying to tell people, make sure you have balance in your life all the way through. Because in my 30s, when I first started, I just worked every single minute of the day. I was broke. I was a single mom. I had my husband, my car, everything was gone. I had an 8-month-old baby. And I was like, oh my God, I have to work 29 hours every day. And I just got too, you do too much here, you don't take enough care over there. So I really want people to try to at least have some sort of balance. So I really like you to choose one of the equities, and then you give us an assignment. And then everyone that listens knows I ask the week that your show comes out, I ask them to do that assignment for a week. And if they like it, keep doing it. If it adds value to their life. And if they don't, at least they kind of mix things up a little bit for the week and do something different.
Right.
Which equity are you going to choose for us?
So I think, focus on your family. And I think I'm going to choose family.
Okay. And then, I like that. So give us an assignment. Like what do you want everyone to do for the next 7 days? What do you want people to do?
So allocate, at least 30 minutes per day to spend some quality time with your family. Either that's 30 minutes, allocated together to scrammed into a day. I don't care. It just needs to be, some quality time with your family, because people forget to do that. Life gets so busy. And if you don't have the foundation for your family, nothing else would really go well. Your health, your finances, spiritually, everything else. So you need to focus on who you love.
Yeah. I know. Amen. Because you know what? At the end of the day, when you get to be my age, you'll be like, your family is important. And then people look back and go, oh, I wish I would have spent more time with my family.
That's
so
right.
I feel like family is important too. And it is really easy to get into seeing people like at Christmas, Easter, birthdays. And that's it. And the rest of the time you're busy and you don't see each other and you don't really know what's going on. And it's really easy. I mean, I became for a couple of years, I would see my parents at Christmas and Easter. So I'm working. And then, now it's like, I started way decades ago, like making sure I saw everybody on the regular. Yeah. But it is really easy to like, oh, they're always there. Mm-hmm. And then something happens and they're not. And it's like, oh, dang, man, I should spend more time over there. So I love that one because I am very big on family. And now we have 4 grandbabies. And I'm just like, oh my God, I just want those kids with me every minute of the day. Oh, so I know it's fun. Family is just so important. Okay. So again, people are going to reach you at johnscreekcapital.com. Correct. So I took a few notes. So I always kind of like to just sort of do a little wrap up and see if we learn just a little bit about who Charlotte Dunford is today. So you are 28. You came to America from China when you were 16. Very bold move. Learned the language and got in and that. As a child, you were living in China, doing piano, studying. I think what we would over here think that a typical Chinese teenager does, because we know how important studying is I think in every country. I think America's probably one of the worst for making their kids study. Oh, terrible. You are a partner in the small business mobile homes sector, which I really love that. And you live in Georgia. I love that too. Went to engineer college, Georgia Tech, beautiful and smart. And you like passive partners. You have about 4.8 million invested right now. People don't necessarily have to be accredited. They can be, not be. You like the Killers as your band. You like spicy food, and you like to work, and you like family.
Absolutely, that's perfect. I wish I had that, on my bio. Just give people a snapshot of who I am. There you go. That sums it up perfectly.
That's why I like to do interviews. People are always like, "Oh, I'm going to send you over my questions." It's like, no, I don't want to know what your questions are. I want to ask you questions that I want to know. I want to stuff. What do I want to know? So I really, I got to tell you, I love your business because I have all your information sent to me. And I try to read it like right before I talk to someone because sometimes you get someone on the show and they're like they don't really talk very much and you can't get them to engage. It's like, oh my God, you had full teeth. So I want to make sure I always have something to talk about. Mm-hmm. But I really like the fact that you guys are into the mobile home section because there's not very, I know a lot of investors. I've been teaching for 25 years all around the country. There are not a lot of investors that specifically do that.
Right.
I really feel like it's sort of like a thing that's over here. And if more people knew and more people did it, they would, there's a lot of money in mobile homes.
Right. I think it's extremely important to focus on a niche and figure out everything about that niche and be extremely good at what you do instead of focusing on what everybody else is chasing after. So I think that's what took us off the ground is to focus on the niche. Yeah.
I could not agree more. Because I teach real estate investing to new people and I start them out with like learn some wholesaling and learn some subject twos and buy yourself some rentals and kind of work them, through like, advancing into things. But I always tell people, try to learn a little bit about everything and find something that you really like, that you're like, wow, this thing right here really excites me. And if you focus on that thing, you'll never feel like you're working.
Exactly. There you go.
And so I like this. So I am all about niche for sure. I always tell people, find the thing that you're just like, oh my God, I can't wait to wake up and do this tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
You'll just be really happy about it. Some people are like, they're all over the map. They flip a house, they rehab a house, they buy a mobile home, they buy an apartment. They're just everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't like investing. It's all I can't. It's like, dude, find this path and do that. And you guys just let them just turn their money in and they don't have to do anything but just sit back and collect checks. So what's better than that?
That's right. And the passive investment.
Right. I'm all about anything to do with passive. All right. So everyone, if you have enjoyed being on the show today and listening to me and to Charlotte, I want you to go to the most wonderful real estate podcast ever and leave a 5-star review and write something. And on the shows when I'm just doing and talking by myself, I print out my 5-star reviews. And if you'd like to have a chance to have your review read, you've got to leave one. So leave a 5-star review. Also go to Dwanderful.com, Dwanderful, Dwanderful.com and opt in. And I've got 4 free ebooks for you there. And I want you to go check out Charlotte and see what they're up to. And for those of you that have some money to invest, you're really missing the boat if you don't get involved in doing in the mobile home area, because after all these decades of doing this, that's probably one of the most underrated, and it's a super profit center. People just don't realize how much money is there. So I really love that. So the last thing for you is I want you to give us a parting word of wisdom, but it has to just be one actual word.
One word. Okay.
One word that we're going to take with us for the rest of the week.
Say courage. I say courage.
Courage is a great word. The fact that you came over here from another country took so much courage. That right there takes more courage than all the people that I'm going to start a business. It takes way more courage as a 16-year-old to come to another country. And then on top of that, to start your own business. Like, you are the American dream.
Thank you. I strive to be.
You are someone for people to look up to.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
No, I mean, from the bottom of my heart, I do. I feel like so proud that I had you on my show today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. Okay, everyone. So courage. That's it. Courage is everything. And you just take this much courage and then do it a little further ahead and just add a little bit more. Next thing you know, you're like, wow, look at all the things I've done. Look at Charlotte. So perfect example of courage right there. So again, thank you for being on the show. And everybody else, we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. And remember that the truth is in the red letters. So ciao. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.